The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are simply that, opinions. All are presumed innocent until proven otherwise in a court of law. Sensitive topics are discussed. Discretion is advised.
I'm Vinnie Politan. Welcome to a verdict night. And because it's October, I am switching to the pink verdict tie for this program, for any of you who are wondering. Okay, so what is the verdict? What case are we talking about? Of course, we're talking about Bionca Ellis. This was and is a very dangerous woman. She's dangerous because she's mentally ill. Like, that is the problem. She's mentally ill, and she's not taking her meds. She's a danger to others and perhaps herself, right? The legal test is always, is she a danger to herself and others? I would start with others. You know, she took the life of this little boy. She was brandishing this knife. She was on a mission, and she didn't care what she did. Now, she has a history of mental illness, which is a big part of this story, a big part of this case. This was a brutal crime. Think about what happened here. A mom goes to the store with one of her children. The other was supposed to go but didn't. And I don't know how things would have been different if the second child was there. It may have been a bigger disaster, right? And she's just going shopping. And we all put the child in the cart, and you're going around. She does her shopping. She's leaving. She's going to the parking lot. And when you're a parent with a small child going through the parking lot, your eyes are looking at all the cars, right? You don't want anyone to back into you. That's where your focus is. Unfortunately, the danger was right behind her. It was Bionca Ellis, who then went after that child with the knife. Mom did everything she could to try to save her child, but she couldn't. She couldn't. And now she's a mom without her little boy, a little boy who doesn't get to grow up, and a mom who has to live with the memory of that. And I just hope that somewhere in her mind that the good memories of the 3 years with that little boy also are something that she can think about from time to time and not just think about that horrific moment. Now, like I said, she's mentally ill. And from my perspective, cases like this, there's no great outcome. There's no great outcome because there are only two choices here for this jury. You find someone who we all agree, schizophrenic, mentally ill, guilty, and then they will go to prison for the rest of their life. Or you find someone who is extremely dangerous when not medicated, who brutally took the life of an innocent little boy. Like, neither choice is great here. Neither is great. Some states, though, do have a better choice. There's another option. And I wish every state had this option. Guilty, but mentally ill. It's difficult. A jury is rarely going to say not guilty when you've got a crime like this, regardless of the evidence relative to the mindset of the killer. But if you have guilty but mentally ill, the jury can acknowledge the issue, the thing that makes this defendant, this killer, different than other killers, this mental illness. And the penalty is you're locked away forever so the rest of society stays safe, but you're treated a little bit differently than an inmate. You're treated with some level of compassion and treatment, while at the same time protecting the rest of society. But this jury did not have that choice, so they're stuck. Either we are going to say the words not guilty, or we are going to convict a woman who is a documented history of schizophrenia, someone who clearly is mentally ill, but dangerous at the same time. Let's take you inside the courtroom for that verdict.
At this time, I'll read the verdicts on all charges, and then with respect to that, I will poll each of you just to confirm that it is your decision of this verdict. So with respect to the 9 counts and the furthermore, this jury says that they duly find and impaneled as sworn jurors in this case do find the defendant, Bionca Ellis, guilty of all charges. Those guilty charges also carry with it the furthermore that she did commit the other charge as requested with a finding of all 12 of you. So with that being said, juror number 1, is this your decision?
Yes.
Juror number 2?
Yes.
Juror number 3?
Yes.
Juror number 4? Juror number 5?
Yes.
Juror number 6?
Yes.
Juror number 7?
Yes.
Juror number 8? Juror number 9? Juror number 10? Juror number 11?
Yes.
And juror number 12. All right, thank you.
Okay, so let's take a look at what those charges were and what the convictions are. Aggravated murder, unclassified felony, felonious assault, endangering children. Those are all the charges relative to the little boy, Julian. Then as to the mom who tried desperately to save her child, attempted murder, felonious assault, and misdemeanor theft thrown in there as well. So she's not going anywhere. She's done. She's going to be locked up forever. She'll be as an inmate, but I think the treatment in prison, not the best, perhaps not the best place for her. Hopefully they have some ward, some way to keep her safe and keep the other inmates safe from her. Because the fact that she's dangerous when she's on the outside, she'll be dangerous on the inside as well, whether it's the guards or the other inmates. Let's get some reaction. Bring in our think tank live in studio with me tonight. Criminal defense attorney, former assistant state attorney, Miami-Dade County, former assistant DA in Atlanta, Daryl Cohen. Criminal defense attorney and law professor Meg Strickler, and private investigator TJ Ward. Great to see everyone tonight. Thanks for being here. I don't want to talk about the surprise of this, but why do we do this to a jury? Like this choice. What do you think of my idea about every state having the third option? Guilty, yes, guilty, but mentally ill, and just do something a little bit differently in the way we treat someone like that?
I don't think it's going to matter in this instance. I think had the state had the option of guilty but mentally ill, they would have convicted her. She still would have been incarcerated, and she should have been incarcerated for the rest of her life, but they would be treating her for her mental illness. They'll still do that. I think the jury had no choice. What they saw is what they had to convict on based upon the evidence. The
evidence was overwhelming. I mean, the video of what she did, how she stalked the victims as well. I mean, there was no doubt there. Meg, what is she going to be a danger to others in prison, whether it's the guards, whether it's the other inmates?
My experience with clients who have schizophrenia is they get medicated there.
They do?
Yeah, they definitely do, because we can't have, outbursts like that in a prison. There's too many people there. The drugs that they're given are not exactly the most optimum treatment for mental illness, however. It's going to be, this is my humble opinion, the most inexpensive way to just knock her down so that she doesn't have much ability to act out.
So basically, it kind of putting her in almost like a zombie-like state.
The old drug was called Haldol. Whatever the heck that is today is what she's going to get.
Yeah, TJ, what are your thoughts about the future for this defendant? And then we'll start talking about this family.
I think what they will do, along with what you're talking about, I think they'll keep her mentally in an area where she'll always be watched. She's not going to be turned loose with other prisoners. I think she'll be somewhere in a medical facility of a prison and be treated in that way. I mean, obviously she had something really against this family that she used this knife on, and it's a horrendous killing, but she seriously has mental issues. I mean, that came out clear.
Why are we talking about her? We need to be talking about mom who has to live her entire life without her child. Has to live her entire life knowing she also could have been killed. That's who I'm concerned with.
I think what she's going to be dealing with is that I wasn't able to save my child.
Yes, the guilt.
And I don't want her to have any guilt for that.
She will, though. It's just the nature of the situation.
But, as I pointed out, when I don't know how many of you had children in shopping carts, going through a parking lot. When I did, I'm always looking at the cars. I'm not looking at, I don't think someone's going to be behind me with a knife. And it's not like they had a confrontation. She just randomly chose this woman. This is the moment. She's randomly choosing this child to go after. Like, there's no rhyme or reason. There's nothing this mother could have done to prevent it. I'm wondering, like, no one saw a woman walking around waving a knife and thought it was a little suspicious.
In a grocery store with somebody with a knife in her hand walking around trying to figure out why this woman's got a knife walking through the store. Somebody should have caught her before this happened. Somebody should have
or alerted something. I don't know. Are we oblivious to this?
No.
You don't see what you don't want to see. If she had the knife out in front of her, waving it, that's one thing. Having
down
the
by
knife
her side.
close her, that's
But
completely a
maybe
different
something
situation.
good will come of this case. That, you know, there's a famous case from New York in the 60s. Maybe finally we'll all do something. If we see something, we'll do something for once. Finally.
Don't wait for someone else, right? Don't wait for someone else. You see a dangerous situation. Let's do this. I want you to take a listen to the experts, right, who spoke about this defendant. Darryl, we're going to go back to it because this was ultimately what the jury had to decide, right? The jury had to make this difficult decision, which I don't think is a fair decision that they would have to make. But here are the two experts disagreeing about the mental state in terms of the legal standard of insanity.
After that, can you identify what your opinion is?
So ultimately, to summarize, it's my opinion with reasonable medical certainty that Ms. Ellis suffers from a severe mental disease, namely schizophrenia, and was experiencing symptoms at that time related to this illness that caused her to not know what she was doing was wrong.
It's my opinion with reasonable medical certainty, however, that the defendant did not have a severe mental disease or defect at the time of the June 3rd, 2024 offense that caused her to not know the wrongfulness of the offenses. So despite having schizophrenia, it did not cause her to not know the wrongfulness of the offenses.
And this is such an important distinction. You look at this is a week afterwards, the way she was acting in court in one of her first appearances. And obviously she's off. She looks way different than she does in the court now. But, you know, the legal standard in most states, the wrongfulness of it, you know, knowing the difference between right and wrong, to me it seems that, and perhaps rightfully so under the legal standard, it's kind of reserved for those people who believe they are doing something good when they do something bad, as opposed to just not understanding how wrong it is what you're doing. Like taking a life is wrong, right? But if you're taking a life and you think that you're saving a life when you're taking the life, that's when I've seen a jury say not guilty.
When you have a 3-year-old child that is murdered, it's DNM. Does not matter.
Well,
she was
Andrea Yates.
And I understand Andrea Yates, but I understand what the jury had to deal with, either not guilty by reason of insanity or guilty. Their choices were limited to doing the right thing.
But Yates was the same thing. And Yates, the expert testimony and what she said was that she thought she was saving her children when she was killing her children. So it's not just understanding the difference between right from wrong. I think the way the standard is almost being interpreted is that it's like everything's upside down.
Exactly.
Right is wrong, wrong is right.
It's the case law that you got to kind of look at here. And there is actually, this is the legal part of this whole thing. That's why we have the legal definition. And in this context, there was enough intent of doing bad given in the prosecution during the trial. And I thought they did an excellent job proving that. So I thought it made it easy. They took them 9 hours, but they had to go through all the evidence to get to that point.
And so what should we do here? It seems, and disagree if you want, that this defense of insanity is almost exclusively reserved for mothers who kill their own children.
Don't say that. No. No. There'll be
in murders. I have not seen, what other
I can't
killings?
come up with one, but I would argue there's got to be one out there, and there will be one in the future. There is a point to the way the law has been evolving, and it will continue to
I'm talking
evolve.
about the way juries are interpreting this.
Juries and the law are not always in sync. Jurors try to do the right thing.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, trials. I cover trials here.
I get it. But in my view, in this instance, the jury had no choice, regardless of how schizophrenic this woman was, regardless of what the testimony from the experts was, they had to find her guilty. Look what happened to that child. And you cannot allow a woman like this, or a man, or anyone like this, to be able to be free to do whatever they want. And again, because once a murderer, it could happen again.
Yeah, just if she doesn't take her medicine. And if she's out there, and if she's free, or if she's an outpatient, there will be times where, you know, they're not going to take it because sometimes it doesn't make them feel good.
Exactly. That's why they've came up with shots and whatnot, that you take the shot every once a month and every 3 months, because these people would not take their meds because they hated how it dumbed them down.
Right. And it was. I mean, I understood it, but it's what a lot of folks in this situation need.
Oh my gosh, yes.
To no longer pose a threat, again, to themselves or to others, because that is the legal standard. They literally hear
things or see things or think things. It is a for real mental illness. This part is real.
Was justice served here?
Yes.
Yeah, yes, very much so.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right.
But you can't bring back that child. So all you can do is get even a bit with justice.
All right, Think Tank staying with us. When we come back, we've got an update and a story we've been covering. Missing young woman out of Pennsylvania. Big developments today. Kada Scott is her name. We'll talk about that. Plus, coming up next hour. Tonight on Vinnie Politan investigates in a quiet Amish community in Ohio. A young woman's body is found inside her home. Her loyal goat standing beside her. Investigators say what they discovered next would shatter the peace of an entire town. What led to Rosanna Kissinger's tragic death in a place built on faith and trust?
The Court TV podcast will return.
The number one priority is locating Miss Scott. We will ask for your help in locating this vehicle, which you'll get a little more information. It's a 1999 metallic gold Toyota Camry with a Pennsylvania tag of MSX0797. But we need to know where this car is. We need to find this car. Want folks to understand this person has a little bit of a pattern of this type of history. And so we want to encourage anyone that may have been involved with this individual, anyone that may know this individual, please, at this point in time, make that phone call. Feel comfortable enough to call us and let us know if you have any information regarding this person, regarding any interaction you've had with this individual. If you have been the victim of any crime regarding this individual, I want you to understand now is the time to make that phone call and let us know.
Big developments in the case involving Kada Scott, this young woman working the late night shift, working hard at an assisted living facility, working the overnight shift, left a little bit early. Friends had reported that she had gotten some harassing phone calls in the couple of the days prior to all of that. And then she left work a little bit early, but not seen. Her car, no social media. Her car was left at the facility where she was working. So here's the Deputy Commissioner Frank Venor from the Philadelphia Police Department with some more of the updates.
We've been investigating this since Saturday, October 4th in the evening, the last time Kada Scott was seen at her place of work up in Mount Airy area. Our evidence that we've followed, and we did involve a lot of investigators on this, led us to several places, that digital evidence, and as everybody knows, we searched a very large area up in the Arboretum, and we came up really with negative results. After that time, we asked the Homicide Division, the FBI Violent Crime Task Force to enter into the investigation to assist. All right, and we continued our search trying to track Ms. Scott's whereabouts along with anybody she may have encountered during that time. Our evidence is pretty clear that she was in communication with an individual. That individual appears to meet her very shortly after she leaves her place of work, and very shortly after that, she disappears off of the footprint. We have a lot of digital evidence, video and other, which provides us with this individual by the name of Keon, K-E-O-N, King, K-I-N-G. We believe this individual, and through our evidence, we were able to charge this individual. The district attorney was able to charge the individual. You'll hear from them shortly with kidnapping at this point. It's very important to know we're not done our investigation. We need to find Ms. Scott, figure out where she is, or what may have happened to her to cause her to completely disappear from all her items, her phone, her Instagram, social media sites, and everywhere else, work. She left her car at that location. So it's very important that this individual, who does have prior history of being arrested, especially for this very same thing, this year was charged with kidnapping another female acquaintance. That case was dismissed from court, and I'll explain it. It's going to be refiled now as we're going to move forward to attempt. So he's being really charged with 2 cases today of kidnapping, and in that case it involves assaults that occurred during the kidnapping. So this is a pattern of behavior. That vehicle that you've seen, the Toyota Camry, was his vehicle, all right? That vehicle's not recovered, all right? Some of the stuff he did as we attempted to find him was he got rid of things like the car, the phone. We're not able to find things that he was using. He had an address in Southwest Philadelphia. He had other addresses that it looks like he's not using anymore. So he attempted to elude us for some time. He did come in last night. He's here being processed, but there's a lot of questions we still have. So we're asking the public's help. We need it more than ever. This car, you'll see a better picture of it. We sent it to you digitally. It's a gold-colored Camry, 1999. It has heavy front-end damage on the left front bumper. All right, that's being described that way several times. We know it's been in the Mount Airy area. We have photos of it in Center City. We have pictures of it in Grace Ferry area and in Southwest Philadelphia. So it's possible that it could be anywhere. It could be outside the city. So if somebody sees this, thinks they know where this car is, it's very possible it doesn't have this tag on it anymore. So if you see a car like it, we're urging you to call police, have it investigated.
And just before we went on the air for this program, another update in the case. They have located the car belonging to the suspect, Keon King. Again, he's only been charged with kidnapping and reckless endangerment, has not been charged with murder. They're still looking for Kada Scott. They haven't found her, but they have recovered his car. Let's bring back in our think tank. Still with me here in the studio, Daryl Cohen, Meg Strickler, TJ Ward. TJ, let's go straight to you on this. They've recovered the car. What are they going to do with that car? What do you suspect they may be able to learn now that they have possession of the suspect's vehicle?
They're going to look for evidence that they can find, fingerprints or anything that may be in the car that may be tied to him, and try to build a case against him and be able to locate different things in the car. It may be his phone, looking for his phone records to see where his phone may have been when she went missing, so on and so forth, the logs and all. Everything that they need to do with that car, they'll keep the car, go through it. The fingerprints, if there's something there, may be the big thing, or something left in the car that may have been any blood, anything that may have tied him to her being missing or being dead.
Now, the other thing we've heard, they did not initially search the car. They were going to get a warrant. They had tinted windows. So I'm wondering, how long does that process take to get the warrant, to get inside the car, to see if maybe Kada's in the car?
I think they will have that done instanter, meaning it will happen almost immediately as soon as they provide the evidence to a magistrate, whoever he or she is. They will sign the search warrant and they will go through it. And also they're going to be looking, in addition for blood, they're going to be looking for hair. They're going to be looking for DNA samples. They're going to look for everything. And right now he's no longer a suspect, he's a defendant. And even kidnapping is no minor thing. Hopefully she's going to be alive and found alive. I doubt it.
I do too.
They've charged him with kidnapping. They haven't found her. Correct. They must have a video of it?
There's something, obviously, and technology is what's killed him. All the videos, all the flock camera, the car is from 1999, so they can't go to that car to see where it's been, because there's GPS trackers on most of our cars these days. That 1999 thing does not have that. But there's so many things, like the Easy Pass up there. Everything that guy's done in that car, we don't know about.
Okay, now I want you to take a listen to this. This is a a disturbing fact in the case relative to this defendant, okay? So he's suspected of abducting her, obviously a suspect perhaps for the murder of Kada Scott. But take a listen to the assistant DA talking about his prior history.
When I picked up this investigation, one of the things that our office also learned was that he did have a previous case. It was a 2025 case for very similar conduct, strangulation and kidnapping. That case had been withdrawn by our office based on the witness failing to appear at court. I pulled that file, and after an extensive review of it, our office made the decision to refile those charges. We believe there is enough to proceed, and we also do believe that this is a pattern for this person.
Okay, help me understand this. He strangles and does the same thing, attacks a woman in his car.
Fails to show up for court? What?
The victim doesn't show up. They drop the charges.
That's not how it works. What are you talking about?
But you go send a police officer, a deputy sheriff, and bring that victim in. If she doesn't want to come in voluntarily, you help her make it voluntary. You don't allow a person such as him to be on the street charged with a crime of this type of violence. You
also,
don't.
the prior statements, whoever made the original allegation, there would have been a 911 call, there would have been the original report to the police officer, all that junk still comes in.
It may be a domestic violence situation. I thought there were rules to protect.
Yes, there are in Georgia at least.
Because most victims of domestic violence
recant.
They recant and they're scared.
Exactly.
Or they want to go back with their spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, and so they excuse it because it'll never happen again. It was just an accident, which is complete baloney.
Yeah, but now they're refiling the charges. Like, a little too late.
That really is
like a
upsetting.
lot too late.
It's really upsetting to the mother and the father of Kada Scott that this particular gentleman could have been in jail with no bond. Because a kidnapping charge, the OG one, you don't get bond normally. That's a very strong charge.
Let me ask you this. Now, they've charged him with kidnapping. They haven't found Kada Scott. There's no sign of life. We've seen no sign of life. She was very prolific on social media, beautiful young woman, you know, living her best life and working hard at the same time. She may not show up in court.
She may not be able to show up in court.
Like this is what I'm trying to understand. Like sometimes victims aren't available. Right? They don't have a murder case against this guy yet, but let's say they never have a murder case against him. Can they go forward on the kidnapping case
100%,
without the victim?
100%. There's a thing called prior bad acts, and they're going to bring the prior bad act no matter what in now. So that comes in. Number two, all the technology we talked about in the old case, they're going to look a little harder at the old case, and they're going to look at the comparisons between the two, so it's more easy the second time around, period.
It's sad, but this is a teachable moment for that district attorney's office to understand that if a victim who is a legitimate victim doesn't come forward at that moment, you can go out and find that victim. You don't drop the charges, because Kada may very well be just fine if they had gone ahead and prosecuted him and left him incarcerated.
Yeah, it's 2025. I mean, I was a prosecutor last century is when I worked in the office, right? Right? You too, last century. And like back then as a young prosecutor, I knew that you don't just drop cases when the victim doesn't show up. If it's a case, especially of domestic violence, that's where sometimes there's almost this adversarial relationship between the prosecutor and the victim, but you've got their statement, and sometimes you have to cross-examine, or you have a hostile victim on the witness stand, but you understand the nature of this. This is a major blunder by the DA's office in Philadelphia.
These people escalate too. As they go more and more, it escalates and gets worse. So now I really wonder what the old story is, and I just have this bad feeling about this one.
TJ, what does your gut tell you about the connection between King and Kada? Like how, this doesn't seem like a random abduction to me.
No, it's not. And if you recall, when they first started, she got phone calls when she was at work. And one of the things the police might want to start doing, triangulation logs. I don't know if you know about triangulation logs. If he had his phone with him, they can track and see exactly where he was when she may have been, and if he was with her or came to pick her up or took her from there, they should be able to find the triangulation logs where he was and where he is if he had his phone with him. That's one of the things law enforcement would look at. severely. I mean, they would look at that to make sure to see if they could pinpoint exactly where he was at all if he had his phone with him.
And she got to work and left pretty quickly. My guess is she wasn't expecting to leave and not work that night, but maybe just go outside and speak with someone or meet with someone for a moment. And to me, that's where she's probably taken by force.
Yep.
There's cameras. There's cameras in that assisted living, guaranteed. Guaranteed. So they're looking at that as well.
Yep.
Now, if they had the videos of the abduction when we were still looking for her and they didn't, and there was no public suspect, are you surprised they didn't release any of that, any of those images if they were looking for him?
They probably kept it close, waiting to find him. My guess.
So they knew who they were looking for.
They may very well could have, yes.
They knew about the car. They knew about the damage on the driver's side of the vehicle. They knew a lot more than what they were saying, and they were acting on what they knew and what they needed to know.
All right, think tank, stay where you are. We'll continue to stay on top of that story and all the developments because it's not over. Need to find Kada Scott. When we come back, a teenager goes missing. Oh, he was gone until he was no longer gone, and it appears he may have been attempting to pull a kidnapping hoax. Why would he do it, and what charges is he facing tonight?
Now, back to the Court TV podcast.
The initial details that Caden texted to his family were proven to be false, completely made up. We did find evidence of a single gunshot where Caden left his truck. However, his claims that he had been shot and abducted were quickly disproven. We then learned that he had purchased a bicycle, tent, and camping supplies just prior to him reporting this. Caden simply rode away towards Williston, while the rest of us were left to think the worst, and my team was working in an overdrive to solve this case. Now, to continue the ruse, Caden, who had a handgun with him since the beginning of all of this, chose to shoot himself in the leg, causing a non-life-threatening injury just prior to walking out to the roadway where he would be located by citizens in Williston. There is zero chance that Caden's gunshot wound came from any type of an assailant. Now, many of you have asked, will Caden be facing any charges? What about the taxpayers' cost of this large-scale investigation and search? Trust me, it is on my mind. I can tell you those items are not off the table at this point.
That was last week, the Marion County Sheriff down in Florida, quickly becoming one of my favorite sheriffs down there, by the way. And, you know, wondering, are there going to be charges for Caden Spite, who apparently, allegedly, conducted this elaborate hoax, including shooting himself? Well, the verdict is in, and yes, he will be facing charges. Take a look at this. Today, Marion County Sheriff's Office, Major Crimes Detective Jason Williams arrested 17-year-old Caden Spite for presenting false evidence, shooting into a conveyance, making a false report of a crime, and possession of a firearm by a minor. So what's going on here? Let's bring back in our think tank. Daryl Cohen, Meg Strickler, TJ Ward with us. I'm not surprised that he got charged.
Well,
I knew it last week.
Well, he needed to be charged. But this, to me, is more about tomorrow and tomorrow's tomorrow. He's going to be prosecuted. They'll take care of him. But we have to tell everyone else who may be thinking about false report of a crime that he or she cannot do it, because the law enforcement people, wherever you live, are going to be after you, and they're going to prosecute you. This is unacceptable behavior.
Agreed. And he did. I'm really proud of the law enforcement. They took it all very seriously, and it was an Amber Alert and all those other things. What I do think when I look at this case as a defense lawyer, though, is I'm going to go have him do a psychiatric evaluation, see what mental illness is going on here, because how in the heck would you shoot yourself no matter what, beyond all the rest of this storyline? It is all bizarre.
No, he was all in. All right, TJ, I'm going to give you some more facts. You ready?
Okay.
September 25th, 4:10, deputies respond to the 12800 block of Highway 484 in Dunellen after Spite texted his family that he had been shot. And Life 360 showed that his last that as his last known location. When deputies arrived, they located the truck. However, he was nowhere to be found. Crime scene technicians observed a bullet hole through the windshield of the vehicle, suspected blood, his severely damaged cell phone, drag marks in the dirt, and here's the key, I think, bicycle tracks leading away from his truck. Further investigation and testing revealed that Spite had fired the shot through the windshield, splattered a mixture of blood in the truck, and destroyed his cell phone, then fled the area on a bike with camping supplies he purchased at Walmart just before reporting this incident. An eyewitness also advised that he saw Spite leaving the area on a bicycle. I guess that was an easy alleged crime scene to kind of evaluate.
I don't know how, you can see that the sheriff talked about how much time was put into this investigation from this kid who's apparently missing somewhere or whatever. What was his purpose of why he did this? Who was he trying to impress that he was kidnapped or whatever? Was it his parents? Was it somebody else? But mere to say, I'm glad he's charged, and I knew he would be, to say the fact that the false report of a crime would have been the great starter. And he was charged with that along with other charges, and he needs to be charged because he caused a major scene for law enforcement, taking something very serious about people going missing. And this obviously is a major problem.
Yeah, especially in a smaller county like Marion County. I mean, the community's going to come together. They're going to pour almost all the resources on it. All right, I've got one more update for you. This is from the Marion County Sheriff's Office. While continuing the investigation, detectives additionally learned that Spite had mentioned running away before, and they located ChatGPT searches on his laptop about collecting his blood without causing pain and Mexican cartels.
What he wanted to do, in my view, was to say PPM, poor, pitiful me, and I am just a victim of this horrible, horrendous thing. And he had no idea that he was setting off a firestorm for the entire
Should we
country.
investigate what was happening at home? Maybe there's a reason why he wanted to run away?
400%.
I don't know if there was.
It will be investigated. He's just 17 years old. It will be looked into as part of the defense, 100%. That's going to be one of the things we argue, because when he does the eval that has been ordered by his lawyer, they're going to go into his family history. It's what you do, and they'll learn how we got here. Because how did he do all that stuff to his car, to his leg, to the city, to Marion County? I mean, this is awful.
I mean, there was a lot of planning and plotting that went into this. But if you look into his background, I mean, he seems like a pretty normal 17-year-old in rural Florida. But I guess something else is going on
He's
here.
emotionally
That's why
immature.
I said family. Something was going on with his family. Who was he doing this for? It was probably to get attention from his parents. But this was totally off the wall, what he did, going this far and doing what he did, causing law enforcement to have to go through this whole thing, what they had to go through, and spending their time.
If I represented him, the first thing would be a psychiatric evaluation. The second thing, he would be in counseling 2 to 3 to 4 times a week. The third thing, he would be doing community service. The fourth thing, he would write an apology letter. He would be doing everything he could that I would force him to do. If he didn't want to do it, he'd then want to
Even
do it.
before any plea or any trial.
Absolutely. You do that first, and you throw yourself, fall on your sword, throw yourself on the mercy of the court and the state attorney's
There's
office.
more charges. He's criminal damage to property. He shot the car.
Yeah.
I mean, there's more charges, too. that
And
you can come up
possession
with,
of a gun by a minor,
which is insane.
which is another major problem.
Yes.
Can he be charged with attempted kidnapping of himself?
Yeah, right.
They may come up with a new statute.
Yeah. So the future for this child, he's still a child, he's 17, but obviously facing serious charges for what he did. Is this a case where he deserves incarceration?
No.
Definitely not.
No, and that's spelled N-O, not K-N-O-W. He deserves a lengthy, probated sentence with a great deal of supervision where he can't breathe incorrectly without the proper officials being aware of it.
And then the onus is on him to make the right direction, to go in the right direction for the rest of his life.
Yeah. When I first heard the story and heard that it was a hoax, and the age of the child, the first thing I'm thinking is social media, right? Everyone wants to become, that hero, get the attention from the world, because maybe there would be some miraculous escape from the Mexican cartel that kidnapped him. Obviously, it didn't turn out that way, but I think that's something else that they'll need to look into. So there's planning, but obviously the level of sophistication not there. There's cameras everywhere. We're going to see what you did, what happened at the scene. They put the pieces together. Is there a moral to this story?
One other thing, by the way, I would have him do is work with the police department as they investigate other crimes, so he understands the severity of what happened and what he could have caused.
Moral of the story is this technology is all over us right now. You're not getting away with anything.
Not anymore. TJ Ward, great to see you. Thank you so much. Meg Strickland, Darrell Cohen. We'll see you again real soon. All right, folks, don't go anywhere. When we return, I will reveal something else you need to know tonight. Plus, coming up next hour. Tonight on Vinnie Politan Investigates, she was just 28, known for her kindness and gentle spirit until her life was cut short inside her rural home. Now police say an Amish man's disturbing confession could hold the key to the mystery. Was this an accident or something far more sinister hidden beneath the silence? Tonight, we investigate.
This is the Court TV Podcast.
Time to reveal something else you need to know tonight. Let's take a look at the big board, see what's happening in the world of crime and justice. New trial? That's what Adam Montgomery wants. The evil father / evil monster who murdered his daughter, little Harmony. A panel of justices weighing whether or not to grant his request for a new murder trial. Arguments happened today. Last year, a jury convicted him of all the charges in the death of little Harmony Montgomery, who had such a horrific life that she had to lead. Still was able to smile. Unbelievable. Take a look. These are the issues on appeal. The court's failure to sever the assault and murder charges. Evidence of past abuse that was admitted and put in front of the jury. Video evidence of his interaction with police in 2021 was also shown to the jury. Let's take a listen to the prosecutor making one of the arguments, talking about one of the key witnesses, Kayla.
It becomes a lot easier to credit her testimony when she says, the look of an evil man in that car is why I didn't do more to stop him from raining blows on her face. That becomes a lot easier to buy once the rest of her testimony is credited, and very, very much of her testimony was. Again, through physical evidence and then through the testimony of other witnesses.
The credibility of the state's star witness, Kayla Montgomery, was a significant issue in front of the court. Take a listen to that testimony and why they're attacking her credibility.
Kayla, why are you currently incarcerated?
For perjury, for lying on to the jury about the whereabouts of where I was and where Harmony was.
And when you say lying to the jury, was that the grand jury?
Yes.
Did you also lie to the police?
Yes.
Why'd you do that?
Because I was scared.
By the way, Harmony Montgomery is still missing tonight. Take a look at your screen, folks. We have a missing child who needs your help. She's 15 years old. It's Brianna Valentine. Brianna missing from Hollywood, Florida. Take a look at her picture. If you see Brianna, pick up the phone, make a call, make a difference. 911, 1-800-THE-LOST, or you can call the Hollywood Police Department in Florida. Numbers on the screen. Let's see if we can get Brianna to a safe place tonight. Don't go anywhere. We have another hour of live true crime. Vinnie Politan Investigates is next. In the meantime, please don't forget to hug the kids.
There you have it. If you want to see more in-depth reporting on the latest true crime stories, you can see me every weeknight, 8 p.m. Eastern on Closing Arguments. Thank you so much for downloading. And as always, please don't forget to hug the kids.
This podcast is a production of Court TV. Go to CourtTV.com for more content, trials on demand, and to find out how to watch Court TV in your area.